Perfect. Alright, yeah, so we went back I went to Claude and I basically said, like, give me the dates similar to current market conditions. I was looking for NFP and when we had the US-Iran war or geopolitical tensions, where basically they were close to a deal like they are right now. They're talking about in the next 2 days, Iran is going to give the US like a response to the proposal, basically. And basically what, how gold is reacting, prepping for that and all that stuff. So Claude gave me the time range of very specifically June 12th to the 17th. 12th was NFP, and then 17th, which was the following week, is where we had developments on geopolitical headlines. So then I just extended it out to that 2-week period of June 9th to 17th instead of just doing 12th to 17th. So then we can also prep for NFP week. Today's already Wednesday, so we have about one other New York session trading day before NFP is released. And then with the 2-day period that they're giving for that potential response, it falls right on NFP day. And so I'm expecting a lot more volatility throughout today's Asian session, tomorrow New York session, London session, and Asian session, and then of course going into NFP. So then I asked it to give me a fundamental backdrop of what happened June 19th to the 17th, 2025. And that was the opening act of one of the most dramatic geopolitical events of 2025, the Israel-Iran 12-day war, known as the Operation Rising Lion. Here's the breakdown of the fundamental backdrop before we get onto the technical side. On the 31st, 2025, we had IAEA issued a report stating that Iran had enough uranium enriched up to 60% for the production of 9 nuclear weapons. Then June 12th, the Board of Governors passed a resolution drafted by the US, UK, France, and Germany declaring Iran non-compliant with its nuclear obligations for the first time since September 2005. The strikes ultimately came just 2 days after high-stakes US-Iran nuclear negotiations in Geneva, mediated by Oman, ended without a breakthrough. Let's see what else. June 13th, the war began, which was the following week after NFP. Strikes basically started June 13th to 17th. We had escalation. The broader backdrop here is so basically they were in talks earlier in the week prior as well. Negotiations fell through. We've had similar conditions right now as well, with President Trump saying a lot of times that they're close to a war, they're close to a deal with the war, and that they're expecting a response, and Iran is doing great with the responses. They're being very cooperative and things like that. And then we start to see escalations. We start to see, right now we're still in a ceasefire, but there was a lot of expectation around potentially the ceasefire also being broken, and a lot of escalation around that, and the market sentiment around that as well. Being very cooperative. So that's what we're looking at. Now, let's go ahead and move over to the technical side, and let's get over to the simulator. So here we are starting off with a $2,000 account. I just kind of want to show again, my main thing is always showing how to grow out your accounts. And so I'm starting off with 2,000. Usually we do 500 or 1,000. Today I just chose 2,000 for whatever reason. And then I'm going to speed this up for 4 as a default. Just for sake of time, let's take a look at news. So I started the week of NFP. So this is Monday. I'm going to future events 100 just to look at the overall week. So starting off Monday, quite easy. Obviously in New York session, we're going to skip over New York right now. This is London. Tuesday is quite easy as well. Wednesday we get CPI data coming out, PPI coming out on the 12th, and then consumer sentiment. Where is NFP? Let's get back over here real quick. It's probably going to be in the following week then. Alright, let's get through it then. Start off with, so we know basically from a news perspective we're not really expecting much today. So it's going to be purely technical move, setting up, and that's what we're going to be trading. Default risk, we're going to move that to 2%. And then let's actually skip over to New York. And we're going to skip to 30 minutes before the session opens up, which is 6 o'clock PST. Alright, from a technical perspective, do you guys want to mark off the charts? Do you want to do the technical analysis? Where do you think is the resistance, support? What is the current market structure? All that stuff. Yeah, support at the bottom wick. Perfect. Resistance. You could do current candles top wick, sure. You could do, since it's a Monday, you can do current candles top wick, or if you want, you can do that resistance right there as well, so then you have this entire range that you can trade. But that level is obviously important just by eyeballing. If you look to the left, you can see that there's a resistance right there. So it's completely up to you. You can also create a zone here. So what we're going to do is bring that down, and then we will adjust that. Every single day you come onto the charts, you're going to remove all the annotations anyways. So we'll adjust it as we skip over to the next New York session. So we have that. Let's come on to the daily time frame. What's going on the daily time frame here? Feel free to unmute as well, just so we can get through it a little bit faster.
Pretty much consolidating right now.
Yeah, in the previous consolidation areas as well. Anything else that you want to mark off here on the daily?
I would just bring the support up a little bit.
We can create a zone because that would be the range. Right there?
That's perfect.
Alright, why is that?
Because that is the most recent support that we've created where the candle bodies have closed, and also it highlights the current daily range.
Perfect. Alright, let's go ahead and drop down to the 4-hour time frame now. So what's happening on the 4-hour time frame?
So 4-hour time frame, we again are pretty much consolidating. We have had a little bit of a bearish correction in the short space of the 2-3 days before where price is at currently. So we can expect either a retracement of that move or continuation.
Sounds good. Anything else that you want to map out here on the 4-hour?
Yeah, I could also again move my support up to the most recent.
Okay. Why is this important compared to this?
Because it pretty much gives us a target. If we are to get a break below that, we could potentially take sellers targeting that support and then the wick fill.
Perfect. Alright, let's update that and then go down to the 1-hour time frame. So what's happening here on the 1-hour time frame?
So 1-hour time frame, we're sort of respecting that level. We now pretty much created a bottom wick into that level, broke the previous candles, lows and highs. So at this moment, we don't have any trade entries as of yet, but we are sort of getting signs of that sort of bullish momentum because we're failing to break below that support.
Perfect. One other question that I have been getting a lot from students, and I want to see, like, if you guys can answer it as well. Students in general, like even on Instagram and stuff, is how do you tell in a situation like this if this is a change of structure or if this is simply just a retracement and price is about to consolidate? How do you know what's basically happening here?
So personally, for me, I would look at the higher time frame. We've not exactly broken any like higher lows as to speak of yet. We're just pretty much coming to test those levels, and when we have tested those levels, we've pretty much rejected, as we can see at that 32.92 area. We failed to break below, so I wouldn't say it's a change of structure as of yet. We're just pretty much ranging.
Perfect. All right. Let's come down to the 30-minute now. So what's happening here on the 30-minute?
So now on the 30-minute, we can see that price again has multiple times, as many times, as rejected. 1, 2, 4 times into that zone, and we are pretty much breaking the previous candle's highs.
Alright. Is it prime for a setup right now, or what are you looking for in a setup?
Not just yet. I'd like to see a bit more of a bullish candle, a bit more volume. Right now the candles are sort of giving me a sense of indirection because we're not having a big candle closures just yet.
One thing I also want to point out is the wick rejections, yes, but that's a very small range, so unless you're just trying to look for a scalp, you absolutely can. But if we usually go for what my normal strategy is, which is trying to turn a scalp into a day trade or swing trade, like this would not be the opportunity for that. But for scalps, you absolutely can. We also want to pay attention to what's happening to the left here. If I see a lot of reactions in a certain area or a lot of consolidation, usually I would just wait for price to finish reacting in that area, then break above or below, give me a break and retest formation, some sort of confirmation that it's ready to follow in that direction, and then look for a trade there. So as of right now, if I even just extend this out to the left, I don't see much area that I would be heavily concerned about right now, especially after given this little support formation if price decides to continue pushing bullish. But if I'm looking to the left and just looking at simple price action here, I just see that anytime price tries to break above it and it does not retest into that area, it just has a massive bullish move. For example, it consolidates around here, and the same thing, it broke above, didn't really give us a retest, that's why we saw a pullback. Here we saw a support formation, which is what gave it enough momentum to tap into that area. Same thing here, massive bullish run up. So right now we're holding on to a support. So if anything, we're closer to a setup like this, which tells me that if we have a bullish run up, then we can take it to here at the bare minimum.
Yeah, for the risk to reward, it would make sense because it's a premium entry rather than buying in the middle of this sort of range.
Absolutely.
This would be more like a 1-to-1, like you said, just a quick scalp.
Yeah. So now that we see a setup like that on the 30-minute, the reason why I press play on the 15 without really analyzing it is because if on the 30-minute I'm seeing massive wick rejections, and then if you want to narrow into your zone, you could really mark off this area here too. What I want to see is this is a new hourly candle. This is going to be the first 15-minute candle closure as well. I want to see how it closes, how it preps for about 30 minutes before the stock exchange opens up, and then we're expecting volume around the stock exchange anyways.
So did you say we were 30 minutes away from the stock exchange open?
Yeah.
Yeah, then we're definitely going to get some sort of pullbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed, especially since we've sort of started the live sessions again, you've been doing it just half an hour after the NYSE open.
Yeah.
And now I see why.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll get a move right when the market opens up.
Yeah.
But now I've been seeing a lot more moves, especially like since we're trading US 30 in gold and silver and oil so much. A lot of the moves happen later into the day.
Yeah, those liquidity grabs, so it was 10 times on NYSE open, the first candle or two.
Yeah.
Half an hour candle.
So I would much rather just set up my alerts and then just grab a move whenever the alerts hit.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see, we're gonna get a 15-minute candle closure here soon. Alright, 4 more minutes. 5 minute is only used to check volume. Entry confirmations come from 15 and 30. So we pushed up earlier into the session. As we're getting closer to the New York Stock Exchange, we see that price is starting to push back down a little bit more into this zone here, which we have seen previous volume out of. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, please feel free to ask any questions. Also, if you want to take trades with us, please just put into the chat, whatever I ask, okay, if you're ready to take a trade or anything like that. Yeah, really take advantage of it. Alright, we got a 15 close bearish right into the zone here. We got a new one forming. I want to see again if it's going to break below that zone or if we're just kind of retesting to this area. I want to see some clear support or resistance formations to then tell me which direction price is ready to go. Alright, we're about to get a 5-minute candle closure here. I'm checking 5-minute only to see the volume of basically what's happening here. And this is an area where price has heavily reacted into the past. So when I say that, I mean that price has either held onto a support or consolidated, and then we've seen volume in one direction or another. In this case, we had a nice sell-off. Here we had a support formation and then a push. A little bit of consolidation with 1, 2, 3 candles closing into the same zone, and then finally a push back up, some taps into it, and then a push back up here. We are about 8 minutes out from the New York Stock Exchange open, so I want to see if we're going to get some candle closures outside of these ranges rather than just wick rejections. Pay attention to where it's also tapping into right now, which is a previous consolidation here to the left.
Very start grabbing some of that liquidity.
Yep. Alright, we're 5 minutes out from the stock exchange open here now. So we have the 5-minute candle push all the way down here. Again, 5-minute is simply just to look at the volume of what's happening. And then it came back and closed into the zone. So we still haven't had any candle closures outside of the zone just yet. Two more minutes.
Sort of entry right here.
Yeah. I want to see the stock exchange just opened up. We had the previous candle close bullish. I want to see if this candle can actually close bullish. Or again, just wick rejections, because if it just gives me wick rejections and closes into the zone and tells me it's not ready to go.
Yeah, I meant this close and then hopefully push on the next one.
Yeah, so close, bottom wick, push back up. That's perfectly fine. An impulse entry on the next candle. Or give me a support formation here once again. Hold on to a support and then continue pushing. I'll take that too.
Yeah, or 15 close and then the same sort of thing. Some strong bullish momentum.
Alright, we got a close above the zone. Let's see if we can create a bottom wick and then break the previous high. That will tell us that there's enough bullish volume to keep pushing. If it cannot break the previous high, we don't have enough bullish volume to look for buys.
Price closes below this zone and then the next one creates a top wick and then breaks below.
Yep.
And ideally look for a sell.
Yep. Perfect.
Again, we've literally just tapped where that other wick is, so
What's the idea behind that, Chris? Like waiting for a candle closure and then waiting for either the high or low to be broken. What does that basically tell you about price action?
So ideally, the reason why I wait for that candle closure is because it's just an extra confirmation in terms of trying to navigate whether if the trade is valid, the idea is valid, or if it's not, because you can easily become a wick. Yeah. At the start of my trading journey, I gave my fair bit of contributions to those wicks.
Yep.
So we've always said it always pays to wait in this game, you know. So
yeah.
we're still on the 5 minute, right?
We are still on the 5 minute, yep. So you're about to get a 15-minute candle closure here soon with this new stock exchange open. So if you break that down into the past, or even including the current one, the 3 candles, you had a big push up right when the stock exchange opened up. The next candle brought you right back down, and then here is the 15 where you're still closing into the zone.
Yep.
So the previous candle closed like a doji bullish candle. So here still same thing, wait for the candle closure and then look for your entry.
Pretty much double dipped into that support area.
Mm-hmm. Alright,
Nice.
we have a couple of seconds left for this 5-minute candle closure.
And there's a little bit of wick fill as well. Would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely. I'd probably take an entry as soon as we push near the previous high.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, that would be my entry.
Right here?
Yeah. It's a little bit more of a push. But it's okay actually, we're pretty much there.
Okay, let's do it.
In the live markets I would literally waiting for that push.
Mm-hmm. Where do you want to place your TP? Where do you want to place your stop loss?
TP, we had that, what was it, 330 area.
Yeah, right there.
So that would be 100 pips. And then my stop loss would be, so based on the risk to reward, I would probably go just a little bit below. So you see where the previous resistance on the 5-minute is?
Right here?
Just there, yeah.
Okay.
Just to give it a little bit of room.
Sounds good. Does anyone have any questions about Chris's entry before we move forward? Okay, cool.
We're
That's a good entry. I will do the same.
Let's go,
Yeah.
Jen.
Yeah.
You want to enter right now, Jen?
Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
When Chris was talking, I was literally touching my screen.
Yeah.
It was ready to press buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You want the same TP?
Yes. Actually, the TP, I will put it lower. Yeah, right there.
Okay. What about the stop
Thank you.
loss?
The stop loss, the same place. When I received, yeah, right
Okay.
there. Thank you.
Yeah. So right now we're running on 2% total risk on the account. If I end up seeing a potential setup, then I'll take another 1%. So then we have max 3%. So at any given point, the maximum that you should be doing on your account is 3%. So right now we're splitting 3% across 3 people.
It was the days when gold used to give us a 30-40 pip stop loss entries.
Yeah. It's insane right now.
Yeah. Nice close.
Alright, we're getting a push. So on a $2,000 account with 1% risk, you have one entry, 5 cents, 1 for 4 cents. If you guys want to take partials at any point, just let me know.
Yep.
See, like right now, because it's a smaller account, the profit loss is not that big. So that's why I say pay attention to the percentages, because even on a small account, this profit and loss is really not going to do much of an impact, like just from a trading psychology perspective. But when your account gets bigger, and then this becomes, a couple of $100 or a couple of $1,000, it takes a big hit on people. Versus if you get in the habit of just paying attention to your percentages here and just targeting, about 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. 5% usually tends to be very easy on a good trade if you can find a great setup. Like, that's the bare minimum that we have gotten, right, in our live sessions. But if you're just targeting 5%, 10%, whatever, like it's going to be a lot easier from a trading psychology perspective, irrespective of your account size.
Those facts. Even though the monetary value might increase, the stress just remains the same if you implement that strategy and just look at it in terms of percentages rather than a monetary aspect.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll do another account growth challenge in the group. I used to love doing those.
Funniest thing, I was speaking to one of my friends, and I was saying I do miss the account challenges.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit weird going back to obviously trading smaller account and stuff, but it's funnily enough a lot more rewarding because you're practicing to hold that trade much longer or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you can sort of take that into your normal main account and improve certain trades. That's what I've always tried to do, try and hold trades out longer. So I might copy you and do the same and just practice that again.
Yeah. I think it's a lot easier when you have a bigger account and you're just grabbing like 1,500, 2,000, 10,000, whatever, on smaller moves. And then you kind of lose the skill of how to hold out a trade or how to identify whether a trade's going to run for scalp to a day trade or a swing trade.
For sure.
And your smaller accounts force you to do that. They force you to hold on to, longer trades. So then you can grow your account, much faster than taking 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever scalps.
I agree. While we're nearing this area, I'll take some partials, please.
Alright. How much do you want to close out?
50% will do.
Okay. Anything with your stop loss?
I will tighten it. So we are running at around a 1-to-1 almost. That's when I took the partial. So I'll actually bring it. Are we on the 5 minute? Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. I was just going to say that's a 4 5 minute.
Alright. Sounds good. No worries, Jen. We're just asking if you want to take some partials. No, yeah, with the current market conditions, I've had to, I've solely been taking scalps, not so many day trading opportunities. So sessions like this that can help out a lot with that because I'm so used to just turning those scalps into day trades or swing trades.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to improve on. I mean, with the current conditions, it's catching 100, 200 pips isn't what it used to be.
Yeah, it's a lot easier.
You want to try use that to your advantage. So even, I used to aim for about 100 and 150.
No partial, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm on my phone now.
Okay.
Yeah. Shen's waiting for that TP. I was going to say, so what may have been, 100, 150 move, 150 pip move, or point move,
Mhm.
$10, $15 move is now pretty much times 3, times 4. It's,
My cousin, he also trades. He joins our live sessions sometimes.
yeah.
He started his account, like small account. He said he started with like 1,000 euros or something back in January. And then he reached out in April and he grew that account to 6K and like even 10K just trading gold.
Wow. Yeah, it's
And it
Nice.
wasn't even like excessive trading. He's like been
Yeah,
following his
but-
rules and stuff, yeah.
exactly. You don't even need to. Well, of course you need to try, but I mean, like, you just got to get your entry right, and that's it. Just stick to your analysis,
Yep.
and it pretty much follows.
Yep.
As long as you're managing your trade and stuff, you'll be able to make, good money, even when taking partials or trading your stops or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So when I'm looking at this right now, what I'm seeing is this resistance area. So I'm still trying to see if price can at least tap into that because all of this just seems like consolidation right above the zone. So I want to see if price can hold on to a support or give me like a bottom wick rejection, tap into it, and then continue pushing. That is what's going to give me confidence that we are going to be able to break past this eventually and then maybe even target some of these areas. Otherwise, I think you guys, have taken great trades. I would potentially be taking some more partials around here, trailing my stop loss, probably moving to break even instead of leaving it in the losses. Just given that right now this could be the range of this entire trade, just looking to the left. That's the only thing that I would change about the entries, but if I was just looking for pure scalps, that's what I would do. But we're already at 2% of the account. Max is 3%. I only ever do 3% if I'm very confident in a setup, but if I'm just scalping right now, like average, you're just risking 2%. So we're doing that right now on the account anyways. That's why I didn't look for another entry. But if I can get a support formation right above the zone or just tap into it and then a push, then I would be in for another. I would take an entry on that. That would give me the confidence that we could potentially push past this 330 level.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alright, we're about to have a 30-minute candle closure here. We've made a massive top wick in this 30-minute time frame. Tapped into the previous resistance areas. Still closed bullish. That consolidation from the 15-minute, it checks out here on the 30-minute as well. So that's why I'm still waiting for a bottom wick or give me break and retest formation before I look for an entry here. Ooh, you just got saved, Chris.
It's skin in my teeth. Oh, just got taken out just about. That's me being used as liquidity, I think.
Let's find out. I think overall you're still good.
Yep.
Because you're still up about 0.5% anyways. Let's see what happens with Jen.
Is that a gap? There's a gap, yeah.
It might be a tiny gap.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pull up Forex Factory just to see what kind of news we have coming out tomorrow. Today's Asian session should be quite easy. There's not much else. Tomorrow is also going to be easy in the live markets. It's just unemployment claims, low impact. So tomorrow might be actually the type of setup that we're looking at right now in the simulation session, which is purely technical. And then Friday is when we are going to get the response from Iran to the US war memo, and then also NFP. Alright, Jen got taken out as well. So with that 2% risk, we're only down about 0.7%. Let's pull up the trades. Let's look at the history real quick. So with Jen's, we were down by like $16.69. With yours, we were down $2.50, but you still had half of your profits from the partials that we closed. So now looking at this on the 15th, we got a massive push up. Price is pulling down here. I want to see how this 15 closes, if it's going to close at the top of this range. Let me actually draw it out for you guys here real quick. This is the area that I really care about. So if this candle closes into the zone, next one gives us a bottom wick, holds onto a support, that's the buy that I would be willing to take. Or if this candle closes here, then I'm just waiting for, which it closed down here already. I'm just waiting to see if it's just going to give us a bottom wick, if we're going to see actual support formations or not, and then look for potential entry to the upside. If it just comes back and closes bearish into this, we skip to the next day.
That makes perfect sense. I think on the 30-minute, could you quickly just go on the 30-minute video?
Yes.
Yeah. Just broke the low. Cool. Just wanted to check that.
Yep. Just got a bottom wick right into this area.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's see. You guys okay if I skip on the 15?
Yep.
Yes.
Alright, we got a 15-minute bullish candle closure. Let's drop to the 5. So 5 pushed up, close at the top of the range. Seems like it's setting up for a break and retest formation. I want to see candle closures at the zone or above. So let's come on to the 15. I'm actually going to map that zone out, which is this that I actually care about. I'm going to wait for this candle closure. Alright, we're about to have a 5-minute candle closure. If it can close bullish, the next candle can give me a bottom wick. I'll take the entry. Alright, got a bullish candle closure.
Would you be comfortable just taking the entry as soon as this like pushes bullish, or would you wait for the previous high to be broken?
No, that's a pretty big wick on the previous. I'm just looking to the left here. That's kind of the area that I'm watching out for. If it can continue pushing past that, I'm all good.
That's yeah.
Alright, I'll take an entry here. So what I'm constantly doing, even in the live market, is, we analyze this entire thing. I set up a zone right here, but I'm always looking to the left as much as I can to see if there's any other areas I should be concerned about. Here, it pulled back and it held onto a support right into the zone. That's why I was waiting for price to push back up bullish. Right at that zone, we got a break and retest formation. Now I waited for the second layer of confirmation, which is that bullish candle closure. I'm looking to the left. This candle already gave me a bottom wick, which tells me that I can place my stop loss here. At the bare minimum, we're going to go up to that 330 mark. So if anything, think of it like same exact entry, just a little bit higher with a tighter stop loss. So I'm going to go in with 1% just in case one of you guys wants to take a trade with me too. And if you're on YouTube, feel free to also let us know if you want to take a trade. But see how that's like 1.75 to 1. I'll take that.
Yep.
And then increase the TP later on. You want to take this?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Share it on YouTube, I think.
Alright, this is your second trade for today then. Alright, where's your stop loss?
I'll also place it same place.
Alright. Cool.
TP will be, again, targeting the same.
Same, okay. Anyone on YouTube wants to take it before I hit play? I'm going to give it a second because I know there's a bit of a lag.
We have someone. Titanium.
I think he was saying yeah to what we were talking about previously. Alright, let's just do it. Let's just hit play. Same thing here, support formation, price is starting to push back. And then on the 30 minute, you have a break and retest formation, so that also checks out. So you can see how there's different layers of confirmation that we're getting across time frames, and then also just waiting for price action to set up. So then we can actually take advantage of these setups. I already journal my trades on School that everyone can see. Maybe I'll start journaling the simulation session ones too, so then you guys get to see it here on YouTube, and then you can also check out on School, especially if you're already part of the free trading program. You should be able to see all the journals and things like that, even the one from this morning.
I'll be adding all my journals at the end of this week.
Yeah, you've been taking really good trades. You definitely gotta start journaling those too, and just so other people can see as well.
Definitely. I need to get back in that habit as well.
Yeah. I know a lot of people say that after a certain period of time, it doesn't really, help you much.
It does.
I think it continues to help, especially my setups that I've been taking now, it's the same break and retest and all that stuff. It's just that they're a lot more detailed compared to like what I used to be doing before, like last year as well.
Yeah, and as a result, they'll be a lot more efficient.
Mm-hmm. Like much tighter entries, much tighter stop losses and things like that now.
Mm-hmm. Another thing is also like identifying, what the best possible trade there was for that session that you were trading or whatever. That also helps. Something I started doing a lot.
Yeah.
Especially because we used to take similar trades, but sometimes there'll be a trade that I maybe hesitated on or missed out on or wasn't at the charts or whatever. And then I realized, okay, if I was at the charts a couple of minutes or an hour or so later, especially like how I mentioned the NYSE liquidity grabs and looking to take a trade after that.
Yeah.
I also noticed that after a while, especially having journal pre-NYSE trades and then trades taken after NYSE, I realized, okay, higher probability trades are after NYSE for sure.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot more of the liquidity grabs now, right when the market opens up compared to before. So price is so close, so what I'm going to do is increase my TP here and also take partials. I'm going to move it to the top of this top wick right here to the left.
Mirror what you're doing.
Perfect.
Half of partials as well. 50% partials.
Alright, let me close 50% here just so I don't end up messing up with the same trade again and again.
No worries.
You got 50% right there, and you've got your TP moving to the top right there with me. And then I'm just going to do a little bit less. I don't think actually that's going to make much of a difference, so I'm going to leave my like smaller lot size compared to yours so we know the difference.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. And then what I also want to do is at this point move to break even. You want to do anything with your stop loss?
I'll do the same as well.
Okay. Alright, so risk-free trades at this point, so off of what, 5 cents? We've closed out $12 and then almost $18 respectively.
Nice. So I have a question.
Yeah.
Let's say I set my position and I go to work and I am not in front of the computer. So next time should I put my stop loss lower, right?
It depends on your style of trading. Are you looking for trades on the 4 hour, 1 hour, or are you looking for these scalps and try and turn them into day trades?
Let's say I'm trying to do the scalp and that's it. But I leave it. I mean, I set the position and I leave the computer.
Okay, and in that situation, have you already taken partials or anything, or you just entered and now you're leaving?
Just enter and leaving. Let's say I put my stop loss. Let me go to the screen here, right? So next time I should enter the same entry, the TP and the stop loss here or here, right? Based on this.
1-to-1 at the very minimum, Jen. Then you'll be good.
Yeah, you can do 1-to-1 minimum, or if I took my current entry, for example, where I had my stop loss, down here or wherever, that's me basically saying that I'm okay with that much loss, and saying that if price breaks below that, then that means that my trade is invalidated. So either it's going to tap into this, do a setup like that again and push, or it's going to go down deeper, it's going to consolidate. There's a million different scenarios that I could do. So what I'm saying is that, according to my analysis, my style of trading, I think my trade is already going to be invalidated at this first point. Like, I don't need to wait for it to drop down even lower or lower. If I was looking for a trade, let's say on the 1 hour time frame, and looking for a setup there, then because of how big these wicks are, how big the candles are, how it's a larger time frame obviously compared to 5 minute, 15 minute, my stop loss automatically would be a bit wider compared to the lower time frames. So if you're asking like for my opinion, like what Chris said, yeah, you could do a 1-to-1. That's perfectly fine. But if I already know my trade's gonna be invalidated here, like I don't really see the point of extending my stop loss anymore. What I'm just doing is just saying like, okay, I'm okay with much more loss. Versus if there is enough volume and your analysis is going to play out, you've done your analysis, you kind of understand what's happening from a price action perspective, from a volume perspective, from break and retest formations. Like you understand overall what price is doing. If price is going to push in your favor, like I'd rather take the less loss compared to like a much bigger profit. If anything, like I would be worried about my TP. Like if I just placed my entry and walked away, that loss I'm fine with. My TP, like it would have been hit by now, which is fine, but I wouldn't have the opportunity to extend it further. That's the only thing. But yeah, like if I was setting it and leaving, like I'm perfectly comfortable with, taking that entry here, stop loss here, or wherever it was. I don't even remember anymore. That's the only area that I'm comfortable with. I'm looking for the first point of where's my trade invalidated, and for me it would be as soon as price breaks below the zone. So either it breaks below here and takes me out, or it takes me out here. For me it's the same thing. My trade had already been invalidated up top here. So that's kind of, it just kind of depends on how you see the market and what you're comfortable with. Like I think by this point both of you trade very similar to how I do. It's just that for some reason I love tighter stop losses. So because I think backwards, I don't think from my entry then my stop loss and TP. I try to look at where my stop loss would be, what would be the first point of invalidation for my trade, because then that forces me to find a much better entry, so then I can just have a tighter stop loss. The stop loss is there just because it's a formality, like I should have that just to protect my account. But a setup like this is just more like, if the trade was going to run and I had no stop loss or TP, like I would be perfectly fine with it.
Having that type of stop loss enables you to get that second entry.
Yeah.
Give your trade a second chance, because obviously the bias was correct, but the time maybe wasn't, sort of thing. And if it's something I was going to mention earlier, Jen, if you're looking like at scalping, I'd probably recommend to try to only do that while you're at
the computer.
Yeah, at your computer. Otherwise, just look for like a day trade. It'll suit like your lifestyle and stuff a lot more. It'll be less stress for you.
Yeah. Day trade, swing trade, any of those.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
Chris, did you start off with the business or were you working before too? Like, just curious to know.
I went straight into the deep end. Started off doing screen printing for T-shirts and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the only job I've ever had was in a bank when I was very young, and I just didn't like the way they treated me.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn, I'm better off trying something myself.
Yeah. At any job, you're going to be treated the same way regardless of, how long you've been there.
Yeah, it was so shrewd. I was like, I'm still young. Like, you guys are bullying me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to, tell people to go away and piss off and stuff. Like, you can't at work. So yeah.
When when I was doing my master's, I had a professor who had worked at JP Morgan for like 14 years. He worked he was like just below the chief economist there. So he was like, yeah, like this guy, he was very smart. Like he knew what he was talking about and everything, and like obviously he was like up there, but he treated me like shit. He was like, this guy, like I did basically everything. Like I got the coffee and everything for him. Like I did everything. Yeah, he was like, there was just no like respect for it. But then he was telling me that that experience made him learn and like develop a lot as well. And so Sharma FX had already started like before, while I was already doing my master's, like even before the master's. Actually, I started a couple of months before I started my master's. And then after that, like I told him like I had the offer from Goldman, and I was just asking him, I was like what would you do in this situation, this and that. The only reason why I was like entertaining going to Goldman was because everyone in the space just talks about institutional trading and like institutions. I'm like, I've never met a mentor who's actually ever worked like in that space. Like we've only heard about it from like YouTube and stuff like that. And so I told him that, and then he was like, once you start making your own money, once you have your own business and you've like never answered to anyone, and Sharma FX was going strong for 2 years at that point, so I was like 2 years, like I haven't answered to anyone or anything like that.
Hey, you were killing it.
Yeah.
You took like 50 steps back.
Yeah. That's legit how it felt like in that moment. And he was telling me, he was like, when you're gonna go back, like, you're not going in as the chief economist. You're not going in as like a VP or an MD or anything like that. Yeah. But the space that you're going into, like, it's gonna be basically your same experience. Like, they're gonna they think that treating you like shit is how they're gonna teach you. Yeah. Like how things are done and stuff like that.
Yeah. The hard way.
Yeah. But I mean, you can absolutely still kill it, and everything like that, and you can still learn a lot, which I did. The whole point was to like, go get the experience for about a year or so, come back and see like, okay, how do I improve the retail side, and like how do I take that, or how do I use that knowledge to my advantage as a retail trader. Like, what am I missing out on? All these people that they're talking about institutional trading, this what institutions do, this and that, whatever, like what are they actually doing? Go get that experience, bring it back to you guys and all that stuff. And he told me, he was like, you're going to have a really hard time. Like, you kind of have to learn to kind of just take it and know what your goal is. And I told him straight up, I was like, I don't plan on being there forever. Like, I plan on coming back to Sharma FX.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't want to say it, but you're probably making their yearly salary in a couple of trades. So.
I used to, like, I wasn't...
In 1 week.
Yeah, like I wasn't allowed to trade. I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things.
We couldn't talk. We couldn't do nothing. I remember.
Yeah, like I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't do anything. I followed everything by book there.
I had to stick to the rules.
But I still have my Trading View account. I was still watching the markets and everything. Like, I wasn't actually trading. I didn't do any of that. But I was still watching the moves, and I would see like this big move on like GUP, JPY, gold, US30, and all that stuff. I'm like, damn, like, you know how much money I could have been making on this?
Sorry, I was doing my best to make up for it then.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Sharma will be taking this, I'll take this.
Yeah. No, I think just looking at all the students that I've like taught so far, I think you're very, very, very close to the way that I think and the way that I trade.
It's all that time you spent sponging all that knowledge off you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a prime example. Obviously, you did it as a challenge again. Similar to how you do the account challenges. You pretty much in a different way. You went back, but you actually tested to see how it is.
Yeah.
Big bangs, and they're probably tuned into the simulation section right now.
The trader's sitting at the desk.
I'm gonna send in my resignation tomorrow.
I couldn't even tell people over there that I used to trade before, like, I joined Goldman. Like, I didn't say anything about my background or nothing. I was like, I just did my master's, that's it.
They'll start judging you otherwise.
Yeah, like, one person found out. And it's because someone from here on YouTube somehow, like, got his Instagram or something. And we were just out, like, for, a team, whatever. And he saw me on his story. And he messaged him. And he was like, that's my mentor. And that's how he found out. And he asked me about it. And I was like, oh, shit. So I told him. And I was like, yeah, like, I had the mentorship program and, like, all this stuff. And he's like, what are you even doing here? And then, like... Yeah, I had to tell him, I was like, I'm not allowed to mention this to people. You can't say that. But obviously, I could talk about it now because I didn't do anything crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But I used to see moves like this, and I was like, I could have been making mad money on that move right now.
I'll be taking this trade, that trade.
Yeah, like this is where my entry would be.
Exactly.
I guess in a way I was still practicing, so paper trading and whatever.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm just skipping through for sake of time.
Perfect.
Alright, we got a TP hit. So overall, we're still up 4%. As you guys can see, we did not risk anything more than 1% on the account between the two trades. Me and Chris, just 2% total. Before that was also just 2%. So total 4% overall. And you're still up 4% on your account, even with the 2 losses that we took earlier. So really hitting your 5% is not that hard. So our biggest loss was like $17 almost, but then we made that back, which is closing partials, and now with the full TP hit. If you guys want, we can also skip through and do the next day as well. But in terms of news, the next high impact day is going to be Thursday, so if you want, we can skip over Thursday. Trade that. It seems like NFP was probably the week prior, so instead of June 9th, I probably should have done the week prior to that. But seems like overall, you got CPI, you got consumer sentiment, and then the next week after that, on the 17th, is where we had retail sales, and then we also had geopolitical developments on the headlines. So if you guys want, we can call it a session. We can come back and do another session tomorrow, or if you guys want to do like another session today, we can do that too. But we said about an hour. If you guys are okay with it, we can go for a little bit longer. If not, we can come back and do another session tomorrow.
I'm gonna call it one.
Alright.
I'll catch you tomorrow.